welcome back. You're listening to Tuttle Talk here on the Real Estate Radio Network. We're here for the last segment of the show. We're very excited to have you with us, and we are going to get right to the man of the hour, our special guest, Garrett Hand of Elite Inspection Group. Garrett, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. So now we talked about this already. You know, you own, you're a partner in an inspection company. You guys have a great team under you, and what helps give us a unique perspective, or you a unique perspective, is that you're also a realtor.
Yes.
And so you understand what things can affect the home buyer, and also how to negotiate and talk with the seller and talk with the listing agent and talk to the people involved to make sure that that you can still close on the home and get the issues resolved.
Right.
Okay. So let's cover some basics real quick. Whoops, that's just my pen flying all over the room. Brian never wants me to have a pen, but I just cannot get it out of my hand.
It's too noisy.
It's too noisy. You're too noisy. Turn off his mic. So, Garrett, first of all, what is an inspection and what does it cover?
An inspection is a detailed look of everything, basically from the roof to the foundation, all the nuts and bolts, wiring, plumbing, anything that can be defective in the house. And what's involved is we go in and look at it, and we help the buyer determine what's wrong, what's not up to code, so that they can get it fixed before they purchase a house, or they know what they're getting into when they purchase their house.
Okay. So does that mean that it covers everything, that it covers termite, that it covers anything else that has to do with the home?
Termites, pool inspection. You can drop a sewer cam down to check the sewer. Everything that's involved in the structure and the basically survey of your property.
So, okay. So then when do people typically get it? Just when we know the answer to this, but when do people typically get an inspection?
They typically get an inspection about, there's a 10-day option period usually is typical. It could be 7, it could be 5, but you want it done as soon as possible from when you execute your contract. That way you have enough time to negotiate the repairs before that option period's up.
That's very important, because a lot of times, too, especially if it's on an iffy house, you want to get that inspection done before you order the appraisal. Because if you don't know, because that appraisal gets ordered, that clock's done, you get charged $375 or $425, depending on the type of appraisal, how big the home is, etc. You want to get that done. You want to get your inspection done first sometimes if you've got a questionable decision to make, so you can say yay or nay and get out of there before you spend any more money.
Correct. Yeah, it can be a make or break on whether you get the house or not, or want the house.
Right, and I know it's one of the biggest things that does make or break the deals is the inspection report.
It's the number one deal killer in negotiations is the inspection.
Well, let me ask a question on this, and I think this is important for the listeners, is that what would you say, in your opinion, is the best way to choose an inspection company? Because there's a lot of companies to choose from there, and I'm sure you've got some good ones and you've got some bad ones. In your opinion, what would you say is the most important aspect in a buyer choosing an inspection company?
There are several things. One thing I like to say is the education that's involved in it, because anybody can look at a piece of paper and say this is code or this is not code, but how do we translate that? So the education behind the inspector is important. One thing that's not, I wouldn't say it's PC or not, but I would say the health of an inspector. And the reason I say that is I know someone that a few years back that had a house inspected, and the guy couldn't get under in the crawl space. He was too big to fit. And when that happens, there's a lot that get involved. In this instance, there was a slab leak underneath, and there was a lot of damages that came from that. And so you want to, health, the education that's involved, and also just how quick they can get out and do it in a timely manner.
I got to cut you off before you get there, though, because I had that same issue on my house. The inspector was literally too big to get under my piers, and he couldn't get to a leak that was under the bathroom. Now, that's what we had the home warranty for, but I tell you what, it wasn't a very pretty time when we got into that house, and all of a sudden everything's backing up in our house. We have guests and company over at our housewarming party, and it was really bad, and we were like, what just happened? And it was because someone couldn't get under there, and they're not responsible for what they can't get to. So make sure the guy's healthy and fit.
Right. And at the same time, you want to make sure that your inspectors are up to date on the technology as well. There are a lot of things that you can go with. Sewer cams that some people aren't doing. If people can't fit under the crawl spaces, which we're getting into now, is you can get robots to go under there and take pictures with infrared and things like that. Also, there's one thing that we're starting to do is get a drone, a helicopter drone, to go on roofs that people can't go on. There are a lot, the 2-story houses here in the Metroplex, the roofs are steep and guys just don't want to go. Well, you can't take pictures that far down, but if we can get something up there to look, then you're going to feel better about buying your house, and the value's going to stay if you've got a better roof than if you don't.
That's pretty smart. Lars, you got anything else? I see you chomping at the bit.
Let's see. I do have a couple things here, but let me ask you this one first. So maybe this is too premature to ask, but let me ask it anyways. What do you find is the thing that buyers ask the most from an inspection? In other words, something's wrong, and it's the thing that comes up all the time. And in fact, as realtors, we find that deals fall through because of certain things that the inspection brings up.
Right now, it's foundation, and we're in Texas, and I say that there's two things with foundation. This is just me. You're either going to get work done or you've had work done. And a lot of times just a crack in a wall, which is actually sheetrock because they didn't float it right, people freak out that it's a foundation. And sometimes inspectors that aren't qualified in looking at foundations will make that same decision, and that affects the whole sale. It affects the buyer, the seller, both agents, and it can be drastic when it comes up to that.
Well, so do you recommend then a specialized inspection on the actual foundation by foundation companies? So the inspector can, find out, hey, this could have inspection problems. Does he go to a secondary person and say, use this company who specializes in foundations?
Correct. You can do that, but there are also inspectors that are certified to do that as well.
And if they're not, would you recommend that the buyer actually gets a specialized
yes, for sure.
inspection?
Especially in Texas with everything that moves so much. I would definitely recommend that.
Well, and one more question on this, and this is an important one that I would like to ask because I'm coming across this quite a bit as a realtor, is if work has been done, there has been foundation problems and work is done, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because any foundation problems, I'm finding that the client kind of is a little bit put off. But I've heard that sometimes once a foundation has had a problem that's been properly repaired, it's actually better than before.
Correct.
Is that correct?
They are making them stronger right now. And most foundation companies are giving a lifetime warranty on it. So regardless if it fails, 10 years from now, you're going to get it fixed for free. So when you're picking one, you need to pick one that will give you that lifetime guarantee.
So it's not necessarily a bad thing that a foundation's been repaired. In fact, it could be a good thing because now better the devil you know than
correct.
the devil you don't.
And most foundations are going to have to be fixed sooner or later.
Okay, good. I love that back and forth. Quickly now, you'll have to answer this, but I want to give one last question for you, Garrett, because you talk about your expertise and some inspectors maybe not knowing that something is just a sheetrock issue and not a foundation issue and scaring people and making things happen that shouldn't happen, and maybe making a deal die that should be a good deal. So how does your expertise specifically help make, and your experience as a realtor, help put those deals together, help a client and a buyer and a seller come together and make a deal work when there are some issues with the house?
From just my experience in the real estate and having deals fall apart because of that. That's one reason I was interested in getting into it. An example, if a blower motor is gone out in an air conditioner, really what we wanted to do as real estate agents is create value for the home for our clients. And it's the same thing as inspectors. We want people to know going in that they're getting good value for what they have. And if a blower motor goes out in an air conditioner, let's say you negotiate $800 off that it's going to cost you to get it repaired. Well, we can then in turn save them money by suggesting, hey, why don't you, give them an option to go through your home warranty when it could cost you $75. Then you've got some cash in the bank after that, or you've got money off so that there's better value. You walk in with some equity on that.
So in other words, you get a situation, let's just say, using real simple numbers, low number, $100,000 home, just to make it real simple, and you've got a few $1,000s in repairs that maybe need to be done.
Right.
But they're repairs that the home warranty can cover. Well, listen, get a $97,000 home, and then you can when you get and you max out, you get a great home warranty program, and then you can go and pay $75 when that happens, when the issue comes up, and get it fixed.
Correct.
Because we actually had that happen in our home warranty. We paid $75. That leak I was telling you about, $1,500. We paid $75.
Right. So you saved $1,425.
Guys, that's a major deal. Inspectors don't know that. They have to go back and work. He understands that as an inspector. Elite Inspection Group understands that. If you want to get in touch with them, and you're at a point in time where you need to be thinking about getting an inspection on your home. Heck, maybe you're thinking about selling it, and you want to get kind of a little pre-show of what's going to happen before you put it on the market. Call us, 214-736-9696, 214-736-9696. We'll get you connected with Garrett. Garrett, thank you so much for being on the show today.
It was my pleasure.
All right. Now to our, this is like the Matt Damon joke. You never have any time. Brian Moore, if you don't get it, look up Jimmy Kimmel. More cool tech with Brian Moore. Brian, you have 12 seconds. What do you have for us today?
I have an incredible app called Magic Plan. I'll try to make this as short as possible. Basically, if you are a realtor, a contractor, interior designer, stager, like Karen Eubank that we had, what you can do is use the camera on your phone and literally make floor plans on your iPhone, your iPad, whatever. You just take pictures, stand in one part of the room, take pictures of where the corners are. It will literally map out the
Show Gabe real quick.
You.
Watch him. Watch this. He literally did this in my office today, and he took a picture of who's standing in the center of the room, and there's desks and everything. He took a picture of one corner, scanned it over to another corner, scanned it over to another,
awesome.
and another, and it made a floor plan. He went into the other room and did it, and then he connected them together. He made our whole office into a floor plan with one app, and it's 5,000 square feet.
In literally just minutes.
In minutes. What's the app called?
Awesome.
It is called Magic Plan, and it's available on the App Store. The app itself is free. If you want to do certain things like export the apps into PDF, JPEG format, send them to your contractor, whatever, they do have subscription plans available, ranging from $3 to $15, depending on what you do.
Well, if you want to get a hold of that, if you missed it, go to the fan page, go to Tuttle Talk on Facebook. We'll have it posted there. If you're a real estate agent, a contractor, whatever, you want this app, or a stager, but if you just want to have some fun too, there's a lot of other practical uses just for the homeowner. Get that app. That is a great tool, man. Thank you for doing this every single week.
Thank you, Andy.
And thank you for listening. That's it for today's show. I want to thank all my expert contributors. Gabe, wonderful. Thank you for setting me up with electricity today. That was marvelous. Lars, thank you so much. No, Gabe, you can't speak.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks for having me back.
You bet. Garrett, thanks so much for being here today. And John Allen as well. I'd also like to thank Dan Bradford, our production director, and the entire family, and of course Sarah, she's the best, and the entire family here at 660 AM The Answer. Remember to tune in next week. We'll be here at Giving You Value. Go to andytuttle.com if you miss the show, if you miss any part, and you want to catch it all in their entirety. And thank you so much for listening to Tuttle Talk, where we're making financial intelligence a priority in the community. Have a great weekend.
You've been listening to Tuttle Talk on 660 AM The Answer. You can reach Andy at 214-736-9696. That's 214-736-9696. Or email him, questions@andytuttle.com. Don't forget to become a fan of his show by going to facebook.com/Tuttle Talk. You can also catch previous shows by going to andytuttle.com.